Hello there. So today we'll be taking a look at this. So this looks to be it has a power button obviously, and a microphone input and a headphone output, a couple of USB ports, power input, PS2, keyboard and mouse, DVI out, Ethernet, and a couple more USB ports. So it looks to be some kind of PC. So if you look at it, so this is actually made by NEC, and I got this for 1,000 yen, which is about $9 US or so. Yeah. Okay, let's look at some of the specs that are written on this thing. So this is a US300c model, N8120-019, hardware revision version 1. Let's see what else we can get from here. So this actually has Windows Embedded Standard Edition, and it was actually manufactured in 2013. It has a bunch of compliance labels. Power term Wyse. Maybe with this information some people might have an idea of what this thing is. So basically this is actually a thin client. So rather than actually run your applications on here, you would use this terminal to connect to a server on which you would have your desktop session running. So this is a very, very minimal system. In fact, I have the specs over here. It is running a VIA Eden processor, 1 GHz, and it has 2 GB of flash for storage and 1 GB DDR2 SD RAM. So before we turn this on, in fact I haven't turned this on yet, so I really don't know if it works or not, but let's go ahead and open this up and see how this thing is actually constructed. We might be able to find some extension points or something interesting like that. Maybe just repurpose it as a regular PC. Maybe. So first of all, let's see how I can open this box up. Looking at it, I really don't see any screws except for this one over here. And it's kind of hard to believe that this whole thing would open just by opening this one screw, but this thing, actually, if I yank on it like that, you can see that the cover is starting to come off. So maybe it is just this one screw that's holding it together. So let's go ahead and see if that's actually the case. Now let's see if I can just crack this open by pulling on it or something. Okay, so I couldn't pull this thing open easily, but it seems like if I start just persuading it to open over here, we might get somewhere because it's starting to open up here now. Even then, it seems a little hard. But yeah, it seems like the top is starting to come off. If you pull on it, maybe? Okay. Get a little bit of persuasion on this side. Yeah, so it seems like a gentle persuasion from this side will open the case up. But I think the plastic thing's already a little bent, but oh well. Alright, so there's a couple of tabs, metal tabs in there. Hopefully get through that, and the top should come off. Alright, so I think I was able to force that last corner out, and here we go. Alright, so this is the top cover of this thin client. You can see a couple of thermal pads here that was touching this memory stick right here. So I'm just going to move this out of the way and we'll take a closer look at the actual computer part. So cursory look at it makes me think that this is a fairly standard PC. We have our memory over here, and we have some kind of storage thing, I believe, over here. That's our real-time battery clock, and probably under this metal plates, probably heatsink, is the CPU. It's clamped down by these spring-loaded little push-down thingies of some sort. So it appears to be a fairly standard PC, so I'm kind of thinking that maybe as long as we replace the operating system on here, we can run something else. I'm just going to go ahead and see if we can look at the other side of this and see if we can get any more information. Go ahead and remove the screws, which I believe is holding this circuit board down. And let's take out this part. It's gonna come out. Nah. Alright, so there's a couple of screws over here that's clamping down whatever this is, so I probably need to take the RAM out first and figure out what the heck is going under there. Okay. So there's a little heat spreader down here as well, and that is connected to... what is it connected to? The chassis? I don't know, but anyway. This thing is preventing the main board from coming out up here, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get this part out and see if we can get any closer. So I guess that we can remove this plate like that, and there's another screw hiding over there. So go ahead and remove that screw. That's some pretty wide threaded screws. Not something you typically see in PCs. Anyway, with that out of the way, maybe we can get this board out. Yeah, there we go. Yep, it comes right out. And let's go ahead and look at the other side. Yeah, not a whole lot exciting here. Maybe that's some kind of chip for Ethernet port. It might be that magnetic isolation thing between the line and the electronics on board. Anything else interesting? I'm gonna guess that's the South Bridge or something like that, looking at the part number. It's a VT1632A. Anything else that might be interesting? Not really, I guess. I guess there's not much more that this will tell us. So yeah, it looks like it's a fairly standard PC, a low power one at that. Because I believe this Wyse CPU, the Eden? The Eden, I believe, only uses a few watts of power, so this whole thing only uses about, you know what was it? The requirements on here? Yeah, it says on there 12 volts at 2.5 amps, so at maximum this thing only takes 30 watts of power. So that's a fairly low power machine for something back from 2013, so yeah, it's pretty interesting. One final thing I want to do is take a look at this storage and see what it actually is. So if we look at it from the side, we can tell it's some kind of maybe IDE interface, perhaps. So yeah, and it doesn't have any power on here, so it might be one of those IDE 40 pin plus 4 pin for the power kind of arrangement. Let's see if we can actually get that out. So yeah, it's one of those disk-on module type things that we've seen before. So we have a Samsung flash memory over here. That's probably the controller. I'm not really familiar with that logo, so I don't know what that is. And on this side, it says it's a APACER drive, and no other real marking that can tell us what the capacity is and such. But as we know, this is a 2 GB storage module. In case we're curious, this is the connector on the side of the motherboard. Alright, so finally let's see if we can actually take a look at what's under this heatsink. So in order to do that, I'm going to guess that we need to pinch down on these little plastic holder spring-loaded thingies, which I hope don't fly away. Here we go. So the heatsink comes off, and that should reveal the CPU. Alright, so we have a couple of chips that were under the heatsink. The one on the left is a little bigger than the one on the right. Almost makes us think that the CPU is on the left and the chipset's on the right, but if we look carefully, the chip on the right is marked Eden 1400 plus, while the one on the left is marked VX 855. So it turns out that the chipset is this big one on the left and the CPU is this little one on the right. Alright, so this pretty much covers the teardown on the thin client that we just got for 1,000 yen at Akihabara. Unfortunately, I didn't find any extension points that were available on this motherboard to see if I can add any other peripherals on here. But we did find that the storage over here is interchangeable, so maybe I can get something bigger, and maybe I can install a different OS and run this like a regular PC. Alright, that pretty much concludes today's video. If you enjoyed watching this video, I'd appreciate it if you could hit a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. And please be sure to click on that bell notification icon so you know when I upload any new videos. If you have any comments, please leave it down in the comments section and I'll try my best to answer them. As always, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.